So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the first speaker. First up is Niamh Redmond. Niamh's an independent web and interactive media design consultant, and Niamh wants us to stop blaming the pixel pushers. So I'd like you to give a big warm welcome to Niamh Redmond, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, sir. Okay, you might be familiar with this person. Not the Incredible Hulk or some guy dressed up as the Incredible Hulk. It's actually probably possibly a client, stakeholder, maybe even your boss. And he thinks the website's crap. So how do you react to this? We could have a bit of a nervous breakdown, pull a Britney, decide maybe you're going to attack his car with an umbrella. You could take it personally, go off and cry, maybe accept his accusation. Don't. It's not your fault. There's a high-profile example recently of a user interface designer, Justin Curtis, who wrote in his blog a letter to American Airlines describing his poor experience with their website and suggesting some ideas for improving it. He had two suggestions, one of which was fire the entire design team. He basically said that they needed to hire an outside design firm as quickly as possible. Their in-house design team was obviously incapable of building a good experience, and they needed help. He got a response from the actual user experience designer on American Airlines, and after reading the response, he changed his mind. Basically, he came to the conclusion that actually it's people at the top. They need to basically have a culture which supports and encourages improvement and understands design. Yes, a lot of user experience designers get a blank stare when they tell people what it is that they do. So they resort to the one-liner, I want to make a world a better place. This may be the case, but it's a gross oversimplification of what it is that we do. In fact, everybody is responsible for good design. Everyone basically, throughout the whole organisation, they need to sort of create an intended experience together. And that experience needs to be clearly communicated from the top. It needs to be built into the DNA of the company. So it's not something that you apply to your product or service, it's actually how you create that product or service. And because everyone's involved, basically, experience design is a management issue. So companies need leaders that understand and appreciate the importance of a good user experience. Not just pay lip service to this, but actually make hard decisions to reinforce design in their products and services. It's also a culture issue, a human resources issue, a resources issue, but above all, it's a human issue. You need clear communication, a supportive environment, and good leadership. So what should the user experience be like? It should be comfortable. It should be familiar and non-intimidating. People visit websites that are easy to use and other people are using. People like to share their experiences, and that's what will make them come back. It needs to be intuitive. It needs to be easy. Google are great at doing this because they're a search engine, they have a search box, and they have a button that says search. Slide. It needs to be consistent. Basically, here's a good example of consistency in logos. Pepsi have, over the years, continued to redesign their logo over and over again, whereas Coca-Cola have made some design iterations, but they've mainly stayed with their brand throughout the years. It needs to be desirable. Basically, you need to understand that, or pay importance to the value and power of image, identity, brand, and other elements of emotional design. And it needs to be accessible. Buildings have elevators and ramps, and our website should be accessible also. Today, it's the ethical thing to do, and it's good practice standard, but in the future, it will become the law. They also need to be credible. You need to build credibility and trust around your services and products. And I'm just going to have a drink. Almost. Okay, getting there. You need to build a love affair. User experience design can transform business goals into actions and then emotional outcomes. Good experiences win customers' hearts. In extreme cases, good experiences create customers that actually love your product. And as your guy at the front probably loves hearing about, the bottom line, a good user experience can affect the bottom line. You need to be making a good customer experience from start to finish. If you don't do this, you fail to generate brand value that will attract people to come back and continue to use your products. You need to find the sweet spot. Although user experience is a lot about the user, it's not just about the user. So you need to find the sweet spot between user needs and business goals. And finally, red or blue. It's not a choice. If you're going to do something, why not do it well? You can create a good experience, or you can do nothing and guarantee your users a bad experience. Either way, an experience is going to be generated, so there's no such thing as no experience. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Niamh, for that. What a pro. 15 seconds a slide, and she still had time to take a break and have a drink of water in the middle of one of those.